Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I want to start a discussion about the Night's King legend. His story is one that always pops up when talking about the White Walkers, and his legend is a popular one to speculate on. After all, they even went so far as to make the Night's King character in the show as the primary big bad for the White Walkers. However, I think that there is a lot more to this legend than what it seems on face value, so be sure to hit subscribe, like, and share the video if you enjoy this take and theory. So let's start with a quick overview of the legend and why our interpretation may have been wrong this whole time. So the Night's King is the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and a man who is said to know no fear. One day he spots a woman from atop the wall, with skin as white as the moon and eyes like blue stars. He chases her, he catches her, and he loves her. It's said when he gives himself to her, he also gives his soul, and he brought her back to the Night Fort, declaring her a queen and himself as king. He binds his brothers of the Night's Watch and rules for 13 years till the Starks and Wildlings combined bring him down. After this downfall, they discovered that he had been sacrificing to the White Walkers, and they destroyed all records of him, or so the legend goes. Now, whenever I hear talk about this legend, we seem to gravitate toward this being some type of agreement between the White Walkers and the Night King. Much like a marriage pact, this is of course due to the language of him declaring her queen and him her king. However, I really don't think it's anywhere near that simple. For starters, who said that this is what the Night King wanted? I think this was a deliberate trap set for the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and so let's dive into that. First, I really don't think that the Night's Queen is a White Walker. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. We've seen no female White Walkers, which doesn't mean that they don't exist, of course, but we know for a fact that the White Walkers have this deal with Craster for his children, and why would they need children if they're capable of reproducing on their own? So for me, I believe that the Night's Queen is just a fresh white, and if she is a white, then I think there's a very good chance that this is someone that the Night King already knew. And I'll get to that in a moment, but even if the Night's King was able to get out of the wall and into the north on his own, there must have been other Night's Watchmen on the wall who would have seen him coming and going, and turned a blind eye. Just like in the current timeline, we know that the leadership of the Night's Watch sneak off to Molestown. And of course, thanks to a Storm of Swords, we do know that there is a gate in the Night Fort, but it's certainly possible that someone is also opening a gate for him to come and go. For me, it just wouldn't make sense for the leader of the Night's Watch to be allowed to come and go at will, to fight an adventure on his own, without his underlings being at least somewhat aware of what he's doing. The Night's Watch elect their leaders, and this sounds more like recklessness than fearlessness to me. And of course, we are told that the Night's King was a fearless warrior, and that it was his downfall. But of course, legends change and develop over time, and we know there is no such thing as a fearless man. And I think this is a trap because it's just too convenient. You need the Lord Commander atop the wall alone, you need him to come after you alone, you need to make sure no one sees you, you need to make sure no one stops you, and for me, why would the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch be guarding the wall alone? And stranger still, why would he be allowed to ride out into enemy territory alone to pursue and fight a White Walker? So ask yourself what makes more sense, this story of this random encounter, or that this is likely someone that the Lord Commander was already regularly meeting up with, that the Night's Queen might have been a prior romantic interest. The wall is 300 miles long. Yes, the Night Fort would be a known location as the Night's Watch headquarters, but again, for this to be a random encounter, you'd still have to be waiting for the exact moment the Lord Commander is up there on his own inspecting and patrolling, and you'd have to count on him to not only spot you from all the way up on top of the wall, but on no one else seeing you and being like, "Hey, fearless leader, maybe you shouldn't go out alone. Maybe it's not a good time to indulge your monster girl fetish." No, I think that this was a regular thing, and nothing out of the ordinary for him. I think that he had been meeting regularly with this particular wildling woman, and so he didn't fall in love with a speck, that he saw from several hundred feet up on top of the wall. And I'd argue that it doesn't really make sense for him to chase after her or steal her, but if this is someone that he was going out for a regular tryst with from atop the wall, then he would have realized that maybe something was wrong, or that she was in danger, and that's the reason for him chasing after her. I mean, do we really believe he could see her blue eyes from on top of the wall? And if it was a White Walker, or even a white, then why would his first thought be to try to seduce it? So, let's talk about this being a trap that was carefully laid out. It's said that he gave his seed and his soul, And giving his soul sounds a lot like he sold his soul to me. And it's clear that he is a changed person upon coming back. We don't know for sure how the Night's Watch operated in the Age of Heroes, but we know that the choosing stretches back for hundreds of years, so it's more than possible that the Night's King was elected, meaning that at least a 2/3 majority approved of him enough to vote for him. He must have had some popularity, or at least some inspired confidence in the Night's Watch. And yet he comes back and he declares the Night's Queen and him her king. But why be power mad now? After all, he already has power being the Lord Commander, and if he wants to keep a white, well, Jon does the same thing by placing those bodies in the ice cells in A Dance with Dragons. So could there be some form of possession going on here? He rides out to meet his wildling lover, only to be fooled into coupling or potentially making a deal to have her brought back to life? It is said that he binds the Night's Watch with strange sorcery, and doesn't that sound a lot like maybe some warging is going on here? Grief, after all, is a powerful thing. What would you do to bring back someone you have loved and someone you lost? I'd be willing to say that not only was the Night Queen someone known to the Lord Commander, but that it's also safe to assume that she was someone known to the Night's Watch, or at least to the other Rangers. After all, the Night's King coming back with what's an obvious White Walker could be a bit of a problem at the gate. And on the other hand, if she's a White, just like with Jon Snow, who can actually tell that he's dead at a glance, and, who would prevent him from crossing the wall? Thanks to A Game of Thrones, we know that it is possible for Whites to be raised on the other side of the wall, thanks to the attack on Commander Mormont, so it's definitely possible that she's brought across and then raised on the other side. And I won't get too much into the Night King's actual rule, since we don't really know what was going on at the wall beyond this sacrificing to the White Walkers. I've already covered a bit of that in my White Walkers Revisited series, but I will close this video by saying that the wildlings of the North joining forces speaks to something that threatens both of them, and that would of course be the return of the White Walkers. So all records being erased would have less to do with what was done than making sure that it doesn't happen again and nobody else gets the same idea. So destroying the details of an individual working with the White Walkers would become very important in preventing their return. After all, we don't want to see others making the same deal, do we? So what do you guys think? Did the Night's King go and make a deal with the devil? Or was he desperate to have a lost love return to him? What do you think about this legend being a tragedy? I'm anxious to hear what you guys think, so be sure to leave a comment, and I'll catch you on the next video.